Call the meeting to order, ladies and gentlemen. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest, general nature thereof? Councilor Boyce?
Thank you, Your Worship. 10.1 A, Quinte West 2000-00035, as it's in regard to the building lease agreement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, so noted. So noted. Anything else? Otherwise declare that closed. Okay, well, resolution, mover and a seconder, minutes of the closed session. I guess Councilor McHugh, Councilor Armstrong moved in second. Minutes of the closed session council meeting held on March 4th be reviewed and forwarded for approval in open session. So I guess we can do that in there. So, okay, we'll move into closed. Need to move in a second or to move into closed. Councilor Boyce, Councilor Elliott. All in favor? Thank you. Carried. Let's go. call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Indigenous Land Acknowledgement and the national anthem. Thank you.
We begin this meeting by acknowledging that Quinte West is on Indigenous land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, there have been Indigenous peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we acknowledge the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte First Nation. This territory is covered by numerous treaties. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contribution of the Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and our province and country as a whole. This acknowledgement serves as recognition of the contributions and historical significance of Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island and demonstrates our collective commitment to meet the promises and address the challenges of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission within our community.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here, and we'll get started. I'm going to ask any opening remarks from any council members coming this way. Councillor Sharp?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to acknowledge the staff and the volunteers this past weekend at Battawa with the March Fest. It was excellent, and I just wanted to note the OPP had a new little vehicle there that children could go in and practice driving, and the ones I watched need a little more practice, but it was really great, and that and all the activities and the staff had noted that they're looking at, as we go forward with special events, maybe some food insecurity opportunities at our events. And I want to acknowledge Councillor Armstrong, who brought Cobb's bread that was to give away to families, and that it was great, and other buns and donuts and so forth. But large lineups with the Kinsman Club with the pancakes, and just another wonderful event. And coming up at Battawa is the Easter egg hunt on Easter weekend. Everyone loves that, and we're so thankful for the Lions Club of Battawa for that program. And I know Mr. Morehouse is here, and big leader and volunteer with regard to the Easter egg hunt and the various sizes and children and crowd. He's always there, and his wife and family. So all the best to everyone, but thank you very much.
Coming this way? Anybody? Councillor O'Neill?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Trenton Golden Hawks swept their first round of the playoffs game this Friday, and maybe Councillor Reid can update us on the Frankfurt Huskies. Thanks.
Councillor Reid, can you update us on the Huskies?
I certainly can. Thank you very much. Yes, they're starting in their finals. They had a sweep for the first round and the second round. They're in their final round, and they're playing against the Lakefield Chiefs. Their first home game will be Monday, March 23rd, starting at 7 o'clock at the Frankfurt Arena. So bring your cheering voice and let's cheer them on. They're playing wonderful.
Bring a blanket, the arena's warm.
That's okay. Coldest ice, best ice around.
Recently,
Sorry.
met our Olympian, Trent Michaud, he's from the area. You talking to me? Sorry about that. Recently, I met Trent Michaud, our Olympian, who was at the Olympics in Milano Cortina, and his skating partner was Leah Pereira. He is our 2026 Canadian national champion. He didn't medal at the Olympics, but he's taking off to Prague with his partner for the World Championships. He was at the Duncan Campbell, or Duncan McDonald Arena, I always call it Campbell, to talk to the Trenton Figure Skating Club, which he started at. And while he was there, he talked to the kids and gave them some tips. He'd skated with them. And then he also met his first coach, Lisa Connolly. So she was there. And while he was there, he set up to do autographs. And usually they charge fees, pros do that. Instead of that, he asked for a donation for our Trenton Care Share Food Bank. And within less than an hour, he made $350 for us. And while he was there, he signed a poster for our city, and I'd like to present it to Mayor Harrison, if that's possible.
Okay, well, good. I was afraid you were going to tell me you were a figure skater.
This is for you, sir.
Well,
Put it up in the lobby somewhere.
thank you very much. We'll hang it up, we'll find a spot that we can hang it proudly. Proudly. Can I say it good? Not likely, but I did anyways.
Went to Brighton High School.
Yeah, great.
Good, thank you.
That's great, thank you.
Over there, too.
Who'd like that? That just goes to show you, don't put anybody down. You never know what they're going to achieve and accomplish. For sure. Anyone else coming? Councillor Quinte.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So last week I attended a session put on by the Ontario Minister of the Environment regarding conservation authorities. It's been in the news for a while, and it looks like Quinte West will be dealing with one conservation authority at this time next year instead of two, as the amalgamation process is to proceed. The province did decide on amalgamation of conservation authorities, and well, there's more information that'll certainly be coming our way, but it was an interesting session, so more fun to come. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Councillor, anybody? Everybody's good? Okay, well, thank you very much. Yes, I want to mention the Huskies are doing well in Frankfurt, and yes, it is a cold arena, but because it's cold, you have good ice. In fact, they'll tell you it's the best ice in the area. So, and of course, the Golden Hawks are doing well, as was said. And I think the next round is Markham, isn't it? The next round, I think it's coming up. Starts this week. So, thank you very much for the great winner. And from my point of view as mayor, I'm very proud to see young families come to our city and young people take a part in something they enjoy doing and something that they continue to improve at. And I know, and we all know, that all of those young people are treated with respect and dignity. That sounds simple, doesn't it? But that's very important from my point of view and yours as well. Everybody should be treated with respect and dignity, so thank you. And everything else, we've got through a couple of days without snow, so let's keep on. Okay, I'm at the approval of the agenda, approval of the disclosure. Sorry, any disclosures of pecuniary interest. Already declared that, so I think we're okay, aren't we? Good. Okay. Minutes of the approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting held on March the 4th be approved. Need to move in a seconder. Councillor Quinte moves, seconded by Councillor Stedall. Comments or questions? Comments or questions? All in favor?
The agenda. Not the agenda.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, I missed the agenda. Yeah, approval of the agenda. Moving a seconder for the agenda as such. Counselor Allier, Counselor Card. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, I'm at delegations. Delegations and petitions. We have none at this time. I'm at public input. Come on up for public input. State your name and go for it.
Jeff Morehouse, resident and a business owner in Quinte West, and yes, with the Lions Club. I have to ask, Mayor, have you updated your life insurance? Because you know when you stand between a heat chocolate and 1,000 kids every year at the Easter egg hunt, it's a dangerous place. Yeah, I'm here just to speak on my support for the staff report that will be presented later on regarding the ancillary buildings, coveralls, and T structures, low value for industrial land and the exemption. As a business that would actually, that would affect me. An example, one of the structures I'm looking at building for expanding my company is a large structure that holds bulk soils. It'll have dirt floor, no utilities. Currently, the cost to construct that would be between 150 and 200,000. The actual development charge alone would be over close to 160,000. So it turns a project that's viable into non-viable in that situation, and it's a low-value building. I mean, it's a coverall with no assets to it. So when I look at what was put together, that report, I completely agree from a business owner, and I appreciate the report as support for the business. And this is an example where the city can support, smaller businesses like myself that are growing and expanding. They can't invest at the beginning into large capital infrastructure, a chance to grow so that we are profitable enough down the road that we can actually begin to build larger brick and mortar facilities. So I just wanted to express my support for it as a business owner.
Thank you. Anyone else under public input? Anyone else?
I'm Dennis Flintoff from Quinte West, Orchard Lane subdivision.
And I'm Ed Santos from Orchard Lane also. We're here to present our opposition to QA 2026-0046 in regards to the Prince Edward estate. So first of all, we want to read a couple of things off the contract that the owners and the developer signed. All costs associated with the operation, maintenance, repair, and replacement of the wastewater system will be borne by the owner and or the beneficiary of the property. The second thing, each owner shall pay all user fees, levies of charges imposed for the operation of the system. The owner acknowledges that the municipality is under no obligation to assume wastewater systems. And then just in conclusion of this part, so what this means in plain English, that the developer built a private system, homeowners agreed to pay for it. The city never agreed to take it over. Now, we do have a couple of questions at the end of the presentation that we want to just basically read out. So, Mr. Mayor, councillors, we are writing to express our concern regarding the proposal of the city to assume the operating cost of the wastewater system serving the Prince Edward Estates subdivision. This development was approved with the understanding that the infrastructure costs, including wastewater servicing, would be the responsibility of the developer and or the beneficiary property owners, nor burden the taxpayer base. Shifting these operating costs onto the municipality sets a troubling precedent where private developers' risks are transferred to the public. Residents across the Quinte West are already managing increasing property taxes and cost of living pressures. It would be unfair to ask taxpayers to subsidize the ongoing operating expenses of a specific subdivision that primarily benefits a limited number of property owners. There are also long-term financial implications to consider. Once the city assumes these costs, they become a permanent obligation. This exposes taxpayers to future increases in maintenance, repairs, and potential system upgrades, all which could grow significantly over time. Additionally, approving this request may encourage similar appeals from other developers, further expanding the financial burden of the municipality and creating inequalities in how infrastructure costs are allocated. I respectfully urge Council uphold the original servicing agreement and responsibilities. Ensure that the growth continues to pay for the growth. Protect existing taxpayers from assuming private infrastructure costs. Responsible financial management.
Excuse me, if I could, sir, through you, Mr. Mayor, point of order. Public input, 3 minutes. And
Okay, so
I'll take the other 3.
well, that would be up to you, sir. That's fine. But this is, a couple weeks ago, we didn't follow our own procedure, and it's not for questions or debate. We're here to listen to the members and give them 3 minutes. So I just want to ask for point of order that we adhere to our policy.
Your time is up, Ed. Dennis?
Okay, where did you leave off?
right here, right here.
Right there, responsibility?
Yes.
Responsibility in finance management requires that we maintain clear and consistent policy regarding who pays for the development-related infrastructure. Deviating from this principle undermines fairness and long-term sustainability. So this is only going to be a big headache, just like the marina was a big headache. Money is going to be used where it could be used for the city infrastructure right here. Our roads are terrible. We have derelict buildings on Highway 33 up by the traffic circle. We have a house, well, actually there's 2 houses by the river that could be taken out and make more parkland along the river. But we seem to be going in different directions all the time.
If you don't mind, I have 2 questions. The legacy cost of this project will be over $10 million.
That's at today's rate.
Now, what's guaranteed, allowing developers to build outside the current infrastructure boundaries. We believe that the city authorized, or we authorized, because there's no infrastructure down there. It was a private, so why should we assume it?
Yeah. That's,
Explain that for you.
yeah.
Thank you for your time, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Thank you.
And we hope that you make the right decision for the taxpayers of Quinte.
Thank you.
West.
Quinte West, of course.
The city assumed the services in your subdivision that you live in.
Okay,
What's
let's
that?
not get into that. Let's just keep going.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much
much.
for your time.
Anyone else for public input? Anyone else? Anyone else? Come on up, one at a time. It's okay. Get in line. You're okay. You're next.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council. John Kuiper's here. I was here a couple of weeks ago in regard to 467 Front Street, and was looking for a resolution on the extension request for the DC charges freeze. Do we have an answer on that?
We'll be dealing with it later.
We'll be dealing with it later, but I don't have anything right now to tell you.
I
Okay?
thought I was supposed to come up during public input. Was I not?
No, no.
Chris is here.
Okay.
Your Worship, I asked Mr. Kuipers to come. I know he wanted to have a discussion with council, or again, looking for information on what council's decision is, and it may be appropriate for council to report out based on your discussions in closed session on the decisions made.
Okay. Okay, well, the report at this time is that we agree not to extend the length of time.
That's it?
That's it.
Through your worship, could we have the clerk read the resolution? Is that appropriate?
Yes, he can read it if he likes, yes.
Sorry, I closed my minutes. Just give me one moment to open them back up. So the report was a confidential staff report QW 2026-0043 by Matt Hodge, Manager, Finance, and Deputy Treasurer regarding development charge freeze extension be received, and that the DC freeze period not be extended.
I did offer a briefing note to the clerk and to the CAO regarding a precedent that's been set in both the municipalities of Burlington and Ottawa in regard to this. I don't know if you discussed that or not. So what I'm hearing is that council is unwilling to move forward or support the project and jeopardize the future of it. Which
Well, yes, John, in one way, and the other way is that we want to build houses, and we want you to build houses, but we have to adhere to what policies we've got. So that's where we're coming from.
We got other people that wants to say.
sorry to, I just think that there is a way to work together, and this is not working together. I'm disappointed to hear this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else for public input or come on up? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Danny DeLuca, and I'm a resident of Quinte West. I'm a small developer that I develop homes here in urban densification, and I guess I want to voice my opposition to the approval of the staff report Quinte West 2026-0046 regarding the Prince Edward Estates wastewater monthly base charge change. The subdivision was built with, it was privately built, as the gentleman explained before, and the costs were borne by the people that bought. These are multi-million-dollar homes, and we're trying to transfer that cost, even as little of however that cost is going to be transferred over to every resident of Quinte West. It's not something that all of the residents of Quinte West should be bearing for a private project. And if that was a contract that was in place before, people knew it, and complaining about it shouldn't be the voice that is merited. And so I oppose that. I have charges that I do when I develop urban densifying, when I do my urban densification, and we all have costs. And that was a cost. They knew when they bought their homes that that's what they would have to pay. And I don't feel that that should be passed on to every resident in Quinte West. And over the time, every 5 years, if we're looking at about $1 million every 5 years, so 200,000 that's going to be transferred over. That's not costs that everybody should be bearing for an exclusive community of roughly 300 homes, maybe, that are multi-million-dollar homes. Those people can definitely afford to pay that surcharge that they signed up for, and it should not be bore down to the rest of the residents of Quinte West, who are struggling already with higher taxes and cost of living, et cetera, et cetera. And this is something that's not only like now, a one time. It's something that's going to be there forever, and we shouldn't be paying the cost for a luxury community and taking over that cost. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. My name is Robert Warm. I'm a resident of Trenton Ward, Shooter Street. I will also be talking about the Prince Edward Estates wastewater monthly base charge. I just want to comment on the recommendation and the basis for making that recommendation. The stated intention of staff was to ensure billing equities, simplifying operations, and addressing resident inquiries. I think we can say that inquiries are complaints. Let's address billing equity. So equity in this case is being determined that equity means the same. So equity doesn't mean the same. It means that people are treated fairly. So as has been established, the residents, property owners of the subdivision were fully aware of the surcharge. A surcharge which currently means that the system operates in a deficit. Reducing that surcharge means that it reduces in a deficit that the staff reports suggest will be $200,000 per year. It also says that if you spread that out over the rest of us, it's less than 1%. So the residents of Quinte West who are on wastewater aren't going to come here and fight over every $15, every $10. But do the math, $200,000. 5 years, what's that? As has been stated, this is a subdivision where the developer markets the houses as being move-in ready at between $1.5 million and $1.85 million. The average cost of a home in Quinte West is $500,000, which is already well out of the reach of most people who have already decided that they will never own a home. This report suggests that we should all pitch in $15, $20 a year in perpetuity so that owners of homes that are valued at $1.5 to $1.8 million can get $600 a month off of their bill. Who wouldn't love to get $600 a month off of a year off of their bill? Who wouldn't love that? I just also want to suggest that it's worth looking at the developer website. This is a development that is fully inside Quinte West, but if you look at the what developer website, it is advertised as being in Prince Edward County. There are between 8 to 10% of the homes in this development are operating as whole home STAs, offering a night stay at up to $1,100 a night. 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, on the same system that the rest of us are going to subsidize. Don't do it.
I don't say you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong, but we'll be talking about this later on as to how we arrive at where we're at. So, anyway, anyone else for public input? Anyone else? Well, thank you very much, and we'll just keep going then. Okay. All right. So we're at number C. Or D, B, is it B? Which one are we at? Yeah, okay, all right. Staff resolution, Caleb Denown, Director of Finance, City Treasurer, regarding OPP building lease agreement be received. Okay, be received. Councillor O'Neill?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Pardon?
I'd like to comment on it.
Okay,
Please.
I need a mover and a seconder to receive it. Councillor Roseblade, Councillor Sharp. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm concerned the money's flowing the wrong way. We as a municipality are dependent on the province to help fund our operations. This, the OPP builds on a per household basis regardless of building arrangements. So to me, we've built a $12.5 million building and we're charging the province $2 a year, which I don't think is equitable. I don't know how we can fix it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not fair.
Thank you. Okay. Councillor Stedall.
And I agree with Councillor O'Neill on that. I believe that the deal that was done at the time probably was something that this council wanted to enter into. However, times have changed and there are new agreements that are on the table, and I think that this council, it is in our best interest to speak to the Minister of the Solicitor General and request at the next opportunity, which could be a conference, that we ask for a reduction in our general operating funding that we get from the OPP. because of the debt charges that we have for this particular building. I think that we should be asking for it. Things have changed, new facilities are being built, and they've got a much better rate that we missed out on. And so I think it bears that the province should be able to come to the table and give us some kind of an additional subsidy on top of what we already get to help pay for the additional debt that we're paying right now.
Well, we can certainly approach them. That's no problem. But when we were negotiating with Quinte West Police and so on, we didn't. The province decided not to give us anything, not even to support many of the issues that we were facing at that time. So in order for us to get our own, go from the police to OPP and look at a costing, and that's what we built, and we have one of the finest detachments, standalone detachments in the area right here in Quinte West. So yes, and I'm not saying it doesn't cost us money, but if you rent a house and you agree to put so much money into it, over time you're going to get your money back. So and that's exactly what we're doing, and the same with the fire department. Go ahead. Councilor O'Neill.
I totally disagree with that. You build a house, you get fair rent for it. We're getting $2 a year for a $12.5 million investment. We should try and get some reasonable compensation for what we're giving them, because they bill per household and they don't bill on buildings. To me, it's not fair, and we should try to get something for it.
Okay, we've heard that several times. Councilor Quinte.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Being on the council at the time, one of the issues is that that building, that the old Campney building was in dire need of significant work. And I made the decision to go with going ahead and build the new building, because I would much rather invest the money that we were going to have to spend in a brand new building versus spending money on an old building that wasn't working for us anyways. And with the new building, we're giving our officers and citizens that go there a much safer workplace environment, not only for the officers, but for the civilian staff and also for the citizens that go there for service. There were other issues that were happening with the city at the time. For instance, like Mr. Mayor, you mentioned it, the fire hall was being constructed as well, and we're not charging the fire department rent for using that building. But anyhow, what I heard from the finance director, Mr. Denowden, is that the cost of our fire building is being spread across the citizens as part of the fire, or as part of the policing costs. So it is worked into the tax rate. True, $2 a year from the province of Ontario for a rental income is definitely not sufficient, but I'm really glad that we went ahead and constructed the building and provided that service for everybody. Thanks.
Yes, I just want to add to what Councilor Quinte said. I sat on the board back then when we done the transition from Quinte West Police, which that building was originally built for the old Trenton Police, and it was only built for to sustain, I guess, 25 to 30 members, and that included civilian. I can tell you at the time we looked at, we went to Quinte West Police, which was an oversized department for that building. And I think, Mr. Mayor, you were on the board at that time before we transitioned to OPP. But we looked at putting another story on that building, adding on to it. And when we had structural evaluations done on it, it was not feasible to do it. And to get back to Councilor Quinte, it would have cost us more to try to remanufacture that building, refurbish it, than it would to build the new one. And then when we took on the OPP, of course, we moved up. I know back then, I'm not sure what the membership is now, but I think we were talking 80, 85 members back then with civilians, and it may have grown more because I know we've assumed a highway detachment in there since then too. So I can say at the time, we made the decision to build the building. As you may be aware, that was our old PUC site, and as I recall, we had to go through some sites and soil studies on it before we did it, in case there was some spillage, I guess, of oil or whatever from the old PUC operations that used to be there. And I know when we first took on the OPP, we paid our fair, more than our fair share, and that was when every policing, the municipality was being handed down policing, which most municipal ones never paid for before. It was always through your provincial taxes. But I recall that when the province went through the reevaluation of policing, we got a $2 million decrease because we had been somewhat overpaying, and I think our finance department will acknowledge that. And I remember going to Bancroft when they were going through the studies for it, and I remember the one reeve of Township of Faraday who was going to be having to pay, I think, $600,000 a year, and he said, just come take my municipality. So I think we've been treated fairly. We were paying too much before, and I can assure you, if we do have a contract in place till 2030, and I think we have to honor that unless you want to break it, but I can assure you that if the province wants to renegotiate it, you're going to be paying for the use of that building one way or the other. Whether you think you're going to, you're only paying $2 right now, maybe people feel it's a bad deal, but I know the council today thought it was a fair deal. We also decided to also build that building because the province at that time wouldn't guarantee us the size of building we were looking at. We wanted to build the future into it, which I think we did. And that was the reason we went ahead with it, because Realty Ontario had different plans, as I recall, Mr. Mayor and Councillor Quinte. And so we've built additional usage into it that it wouldn't have to have updates within every 5 or 10 years. So that was the other reasoning, but I still think we're getting a reasonably good deal, and maybe down the road when we negotiate this contract that's coming up, if you want to look at a different scenario, but I'm quite sure the OPP, if they have to pay, you're going to, over and above the charge per household, you're going to be paying for the use of that building. It'll be added in the taxes somewhere. They're just not going to swallow that, as far as I can see. And any other deals that you've gone through, somebody pays for it down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Harrison. Just in addition to what some of my fellow councillors have said, one of the main driving points for us to choose the scenario that we did at the time also was it shaved years off the construction of the building. Had we not gone with that option, instead of constructing it the size, as Councillor Elliott mentioned, and the timeline would have just not been feasible for this municipality. It was projected 5 years, and as everyone knows with construction, it likely would have been more than 5 years. So at the time, I'm still stand behind the decision we made, and currently, as some people have stated, the contract expires in 2030, so that's for the next council today. It's not for ours. Should they choose to renegotiate, just to offer some advice, I don't think you have to just pick one entirely. It says to either assume operating costs, so the OPP would pay utilities maintenance. This is the option 2 that I'm reading from, or charge fair market rent. I mean, because they're providing a service and it's been hinted that per household may go up, we could either just charge utility and maintenance and keep the rent at $2, or we could charge a fair market rent and reduce utilities and maintenance. I just don't think you have to go with all of them, but definitely, yes, we should think to renegotiate the contract when 2030 comes around so that we're responsible to the citizens as well.
Anyone else? Pardon? Oh, Councillor Carn, sorry.
Thank you, Your Worship. It is a bit of a confounding report to me in the sense that, if we negotiated this for the $2 and left money on the table with the province, obviously that would be very unfortunate. But I also know, kind of to Councillor Kotzevo's point that he made at the end, and Councillor Allier before him, I know that everyone around this horseshoe cares deeply about the province paying their fair share. And I've certainly witnessed that over the last 3.5 years. I think we all have complained about downloading or some of the cuts in funding streams that we've been receiving. So what I don't know, and the director at the time isn't here to speak to it, is how much the council of the day, obviously I wasn't on there, but how much the council of the day thought that by negotiating a market rent would affect the yearly invoice from the OPP. And I know that there's some disagreement about that, but just knowing that everyone has, on issue after issue, wanted to get the province to pay their fair share on a whole variety of issues this term, it doesn't make sense to me that there would have been money left on the table. So I don't know if there was some sort of miscommunication or just that, but it seems like the council of the day believed that this would just be tacked back on at the invoicing stage, I guess, because it doesn't make sense otherwise to me.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? No? Okay, all right. Need a mover, I've got a mover and a seconder to receive. All in favor of receiving? Thank you. Okay. All right. I can't even see this.
Mr. Mayor?
Hey.
Got a question over here.
Oh, sorry.
Is there a typo in this next, should there not be a C? There's two resolutions there, and they're completely separate. Just asking.
Okay. You're talking, which one are we even talking about? C?
Two different numbers. Staff report 00050 is coming after this. 0046 is coming up. Should there not be and it's B, should there not be C coming up after?
I can't even see it. Is it?
It's right here. There's no C.
Is it under B?
Oh, sorry.
No, I think it is correct.
Yeah, okay.
It is
Mine
correct.
doesn't have one. I don't know why.
It is correct. Don't carry.
Okay, my bad.
We're dealing with Prince Edward State Street.
Whatever.
B.
Oh, okay. We're
It's
dealing with
it's not showing up.
properties in the Prince Edward Estate subdivision be charged and in accordance with bylaw 24-131 effective June 1st, 2026, thereby eliminating the separate rate structure previously applied to this subdivision.
Move.
Okay?
No. Discussion.
Don't discuss it if it doesn't
Okay, I
get
want to
moved.
move it.
Okay, Matt, do you want to expand on this one for us, please?
Right?
Matt Hodge, yes.
We want to go against it. Shelley? Against it.
We just don't vote on it. We just don't even put the resolution up.
Through your worship, yeah, I can speak to this. Again, the Prince Edward Estates, this facility is a residential subdivision that was created through a subdivision agreement. The intent of that was through the agreement at some point in time, the facility would be assumed by the municipality. That assumption happened based on over time in 2024. Back in 2020, again, the original rate analysis was developed at the time the concept and the subdivision agreement was put in place. At one point in time, the original base rate charge was actually $136.15. A report was created in 2020. Again, the rates, the collection of revenue is dependent on the house build numbers. So this development has built out slower than the original predictions. Again, now it's additionally feeling the effects of the current economy. But we did agree, and looking at projections back in 2020, that there was a report that agreed to reduce the base charge from 136 to 91. That was approved. That came to council and was approved in 2020. And again, back then, we agreed to look at the rate structure, which would be about this time now, based on the proceeding with phase 3 of the development. So currently, there's about 175 homes, which is approaching the full build-out of the first 2 phases. That being said, we've had, over the last few years, there's been a number of continued people coming. We had a person here last year talking about the costs of water and wastewater in that subdivision, primarily about his water rates, how they're tied together, and the costs of watering lawns. But again, staff with myself and finance, we sat down, reviewed the rate structure, and basically there's a couple options on the table here. We're recommending amalgamating it with the residential rates for the rest of the city, based on in the large picture it's a small number. However, it's still a cost. The other option is to leave the rates where they are and consider this again in the future potentially when build out gets closer to full build out of the community.
Any comments or questions? Councillor Elliott?
Yes, back to Matt or the CAO, a couple of statements that was made here in public input that this is a unique setup and situation and it should be left as a private entity. Would you mind discussing the Stonecrest Estates, which is at Bayside, which is a private plant also, of which we have assumed, and how that works? And they're assumed under the rate, I would presume, of the rest of the city. So to kind of compare, they are both same system. The only difference for the one down there is each house has a collection tank, where the one up there, the straight effluent goes to the treatment plant. And the plant down there, it basically just treats the gray water that's out. I'm not arguing that it didn't have extra rates. I know my colleague and we've had complaints from the people down there that the rates are higher and whatever. And I would also like the staff to comment on the blending of rates, because a number of years ago, we used to have several different rates, whether it was Battawa, Frankfurt, Trenton, they all had a different one, and we blended them. And I think at different times you could look in that one ward was, I guess, subsidizing the other with the blended rates because they weren't all the same and there were certain works went on that maybe didn't benefit them. But that has been there that I think needs to be brought out as information before there's a decision made on this and a mindset that this is totally separate. And I can also add, they're building in phase 4 and 5 now, and phase 3, which was supposed to go before this one, is froze pending a conservation study because of the realignment of a street and a road. And that's still ongoing, and when that's going to be solved, I'm not sure. I know Mr. Jardine and the planning department are following that, but it's been ongoing for the last 3 or 4 years. And it was supposed to, as I recall, Mr. Jardine, that we approved phase 3, and we had a red line amendment on it, I believe, to increase the housing from 35 or 36 to 70 some, and they were going to be more affordable homes, as I'm understood. But anyway, that's just a little history, and maybe if you could just elaborate on the so-called charges and also the Stonecrest, because these gentlemen seem to think this is a unique situation as a private sewage system, and it's not the only one we have. And we have assumed that one, and we've already assumed that one down there, just for information.
Okay, through your worship, yeah, I'll start. In terms of the rate structure, I can't speak to the year, but I believe at some point in history, the Battawa, Frankfurt, Sydney, and Trenton had different rate structures, and the council at the time did make a decision and amalgamated those to all one rate structure, with the premise that all parties are in it together and all parties are going to pay for future capital and construction replacements and operating costs. So again, I can't speak to the exact year that happened, but then both of these systems came online, or have been concepts for a long time. The Stonecrest started development first. The Stonecrest proposal, when it came to the city, has the school board as a large partner in this operation, and then at the time the school board, and they still do, pay a premium for their wastewater service, and then the agreement at the time was the residential customers would pay the rate structure that the rest of the city pays for wastewater. All parties pay the same water structure. So that was how Stonecrest came to be. Again, we worked through it, built out the first phases, assumed the facility, and I think a couple of years ago we brought a report back to this council that an expansion was required, And unfortunately for the city, the facility didn't work as well as it was originally proposed. So again, the greater rate base contributed to a cost-sharing agreement with the developer for the next phase of expansion, and that has been completed. So that's done. Again, moving back to the Prince Edward Estates, we're here today. The development's been built, it's been assumed. Different phases have came online. There were triggers within the original rate structure. We're just approaching the first trigger, actually, that for 200 home build out, that it showed a reduction. However, we did that reduction early. That projections were good that we were going to achieve that, and that's the reduction we made in 2020 to go from 136 to 91.
Okay, thank you. I'll go to Councillor O'Neill. I'll come back.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I agree with the majority of the residents who do not want the base rate reduced. And I feel the key is in the report. It says even at the elevated rate, full cost recovery is not guaranteed. So I'm not for reducing the rate.
See, you want to talk about Stonecrest? Do you remember the issues there?
We've had a couple.
All the way north on Aikens Road? Go ahead.
All the way north on Aikens Road. Stonecrest is just a little bit over from there.
What's the road west of Aikens?
Oh, Montrose Road?
Montrose, that's it, sorry.
Oh, well, that's a completely different issue. They don't have a wastewater treatment plant.
No, they don't, but with our water system.
We have lots of water in the Montrose Road area. So if anybody's looking for water, I can show you where there is some.
That's not the kind I want.
I know, but I wanted to get back to this topic.
Okay, go ahead.
So the facility at the Prince Edward Estates, my understanding is that yes, the city did assume the facility, but we are still charging the rate. So just curious, in the report, did it show on there that city staff or the finance staff did an estimate if we were to revise for the citizens in Prince Edward Estate what they would be paying if we were to revise their rate in 2026. I didn't see that in there unless it's there and I didn't see it. Because we were waiting for the triggers for the certain number of homes. And I'm not willing to change the system yet until we reach the level of homes being built or constructed at that part. And I can tell you roughly when we did amalgamate Battawa and Frankfurt, Trenton, the wastewater facilities, to merge them into one organization, so to speak, was back in between 2008 and 2009, somewhere in there, because that's when I joined council, and that was one of the issues that we dealt with to put the water, not only the wastewater system together, but also the water system together, so that it would make it fair for everybody that our entire city was all working together, and we didn't have to keep, 62 pieces of paper filed in wherever. It was much simpler for our staff to organize projects and keep systems working the way we wanted them to work, and make it easier for all the citizens as well, so that they would know that they're going to get looked after, and we wouldn't miss something by making a mistake on a facility or a project or an issue whatsoever. It's just keeping things simple. So I'm not willing to make the change just yet for the Prince Edward Estate until I see a report in here, or somebody can show me a report that what the current situation is with as far as what they're paying now and the costs that we are seeing. And the cost of the facility, it's broken down. Right now, currently, it's $75 per month just for the operating expenses, and $16, sorry, not a month, $16, yeah, monthly. Sorry, $16 going to capital costs. So there is future money being set aside for any capital works that have to be done. And as far as the Stonecrest, the city did have to make an investment to grow that facility. I believe it was just around $6 million because we had already assumed it, and the facility has to grow for the expansion. There's another 70 to 80 homes that are going to be built in there, hopefully, if market conditions will help us everybody out. And that investment has already been made to the Stonecrest facility. Thanks.
Okay, Councillor Stedall?
Yes, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we just did a full wastewater study in 2025, and we struggled at that time with an 8% increase to the rates, and this whole scenario about this subdivision was not included at that time. And I guess I can't support us arbitrarily in the middle of between studies coming up with a new rate for this particular subdivision when it wasn't on the table when we talked a year ago. So I won't be supporting it. I had struggled for the 8% increase in water rates last year. In fact, I didn't vote for it. So I will not be supporting that we reduce these rates, which could effectively increase the rest of the water rates, not the taxes, but the water rates for other users on our system.
Thank you. Matt Hodge, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the intent is not to reopen the water wastewater rate study based on the $200,000 change. There's many other changes that have happened that are greater than that, just based on inflation, funding that we've received, that this dollar amount would not warrant us reopening the water wastewater study to reevaluate the rates. So the rates would stay the same.
Okay, thank you.
Correct, for now.
Okay, Councillor Roseblade?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't support it either. I am a wastewater customer, and I'd just like to say, I don't think that we should have to burden any cost for this subdivision. It was a standalone. In the future, when they become self-sufficient and the city takes it over at no cost to the rest of the customers, then that's when it needs to be done. But right now, it's going to be a cost. I know from a fact that when you go away go south, which I did, go south for a couple of months, I turned my water main off, and I'm still paying $75 a month when I'm away, and I don't even turn my water on. So why should I have to burden more an expense from a subdivision of, and they are wealthy homes, whether they're wealthy homes or not, why should that expense be put on me until they're self-sufficient in what they agreed to be before the city takes it over? So I don't support it.
Thank you. Councillor Katsoulis?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're dancing around the subject, but no one's made a motion yet, so I'll make the motion that we do not, we keep it as is and we do not reduce rates.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded by Councillor Boyce. Now, before we take the vote, CO Angelo, any other comment that you would like to add at this time? I know it's...
No, not at this time, Your Worship, no.
Okay. Any other staff member? Otherwise,
Mr. Mayor?
we're good?
Mr. Mayor?
Okay.
Can we just make sure that in the motion that we include the fact that we still keep the trigger points there that the staff have worked out for the number of homes that get built and are sold, so that it will still get reviewed when those trigger points are met?
Yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, similar to Director Tracy, what he said, they still have multiple phases to complete this project. So once that's done, then they can readdress this issue. But right now, I wouldn't recommend reducing the rates.
Okay.
And I just wanted to add one more thing, sorry. But some of the conversation around, so the people in Prince Edward Estates, they are paying the same for their drinking water that everybody pays. This is just for the wastewater facility that's there, just to clarify, because the conversation has been bouncing back and forth. And if somebody was listening at home, they might not follow that.
Yeah, it's not hard to follow. The water flows downhill. Mr. Clerk, do you want to clarify the motion and so on for all of us, please?
As through to the council, the motion on the floor is that the report be received and that the rate not be changed as proposed.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Reid, do you have any other comments? Because you were involved with the Frankfurt rate when we did the water, I guess you'd say the water line that came from Glen Miller area and went north through Frankfurt and comes across down to Battawa and back into Trenton. So we have the loop there that we built, and that loop is one that would allow us to supply water to any part of the city of Quinte West should something happen to one system. So Frankfurt, would have been adjusted accordingly at that time.
Yes, and I have nothing more to add to that. It's a wonderful feature that we have, that all of Quinte West is connected with the water loop. But I agree with my previous counselor speaking. I will not support any changes.
Hey, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
Also, the Bayside Water Treatment Plant is connected to the Trenton plant as well, because that work was done about 8 years ago. And the line that you just mentioned between Trenton and Frankfurt, that was done about 3 years ago. It was all excellent work so that we can all support one another.
So when you talk about the Bayside, what about the base?
They have their own water system. Are you talking about the
Sewage.
Yeah, they have their own sewage system. We don't have anything to do with that, except smell it when we drive by it.
Okay, well, my point is very simple, that we are connected. We are connected
Yes.
to that system. And remember a few years ago when we had the broken line under the river?
Oh, boy, do I.
Yeah, Mr. Director Tracy, you want to bring us up to date on, just let everybody know what changes, as best you can remember, what changes and what improvements we made to the water system when we had the leak under the river?
Through your worship, yeah, just a couple points of clarification. Just on the CFB Trenton, they are a large water customer. We supply water, we're interconnected. As noted, the wastewater is their private system. And in terms of the leak under the river, yes, we did a repair there. We did a lining system and to shore up our infrastructure. And it's working well. Thank you.
And what about pumps? What about pumps and valves that we put in? Additional, we put valves in.
Yeah, through your worship, we've done a lot of improvements to the water system. Part of that, we did add additional valves to allow us to direct water under various situations in different directions, help us isolate future incidents.
Thank you very much. Yes, we did. And I'm not being negative about the base. Don't think I am, because the base is a big part of this city. It's a big part of this city, and we actually get, this is one of the good stories, we get federal funding, federal government funding. Yes, we do. And they did reduce it here a few years ago, but I'm told that there's hope that it will come back to where it was. So, and I think Mr. Myers may be working for us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think we're getting off topic, and I'd like to call the vote.
Need to know. Carried, thank you. Okay. All right, let's keep going. And the next one I have is C, okay. Resolution by Matt Hodge, Treasurer, regarding development charges, cover all building exemptions be received, and the council approve a non-statutory development charge exemption for ancillary non-residential structures of low construction value, such as cover all buildings and T-sheds. Okay, I need a mover in the second.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to put a motion on that we not approve this. Instead of as it is printed, I would say not approve, and also add to that portion of it at the end where it says that if one of these buildings is coming and they are not connected to water and sewer, that their charge be reduced by the water and sewer development charge, but they would still get the base charge for the development charge. That's my resolution.
Well, I got this one in front of me. That's, yeah. Okay, so do I have a mover and a seconder for this resolution? If I don't, then Councilor.
I'll put it on the
Riley
table,
moves.
Mr. Chair.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilor Quince. Okay, so we have to vote this one out. Okay, or vote it in, one or the other. Any other comments? Any other comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just would refer back to Mr. Morehouse and his comment. I'm looking at this here. This is going to turn business away. I mean, if you're going to build it right in here, if you're going to build a building of a couple $100,000, it's going to cost you $150,000 in charges over and above. Who's going to go out and price a building at $100,000 or $200,000 and say, well, it's going to double if I put it up? I think that's going to scare business away, investment in the city. Imagine you're going to build a house for $100,000 and they say, well, the city'd like $100,000 before you start building it. As well, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm in favor of the motion as it is.
Councillor Card, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, this is not a fun one. I agree with Councillor McHugh's comments in terms of it obviously, having development charges as high or nearly as high as the actual cost to erect the building is very steep. And I certainly, would hope in the future that when the development charge bylaws opened again, some future council definitely takes a look at this for the exemption. But the problem that I face when looking at this and thinking about the math is that if this exemption is granted and our development charge study built in, getting these full development charges from all this, we're talking about a very significant amount of money that taxpayers are going to have to backfill if we give the exemption on this now. And it could be a very significant amount of money over the period until the DCs opened up again. So we're between a rock and a hard place here. Essentially, you're getting the money from property taxpayers or the business owner who is building out the asset. So it's not a good choice either way. But I just wanted to make that point because it doesn't mean that you're pro-business if you don't support giving the exemption here. It's just a question of, because we've done the bylaw, we have to get that money from somewhere according to the province's rules.
Councillor Stedall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We did actually have this request come to us about a year and a half ago, right after we passed, or just before we passed our development charges bylaw, and that was to grant an exemption to the coverall buildings. And Mr. Morehouse actually made the request at the time, and council said no. It was because we already had the development charge study. We know how much money that we need to levy, and we've already taken a look earlier as to how much money that we're not going to be getting in if we start to do exemptions or back off on what our development charges are. What we did do at the time was we were able to make an agreement so that the portion, the building doesn't have water and sewer running to it, and there's different portions of a development charge, and the water and sewer charges were reduced for that particular building. A coverall is what's being discussed right now. And that makes sense. And that, when you talk about the development charges really being too high compared to how much it's cost to building the building, if you take out the water and the sewer charges for the DCs, then it becomes more equitable. The price is actually palatable. But if we start making exemptions like this, then we're going to end up, we already are to the point where our DCs are very high, and we're going to have to do, they're going to have to be increased exponentially again the next time around if we start making any kind of exemptions. So I can't support this.
Councillor Elliott, go ahead.
Well, in that same regard, I know the Agricultural Committee had a recommendation, and it was approved and sent to council for approval to exempt farmers. But in the same regard to our gentleman down here or anybody else that's building them, they are a portable building. As you said, they really don't have a foundation. They're easily moved or whatever. And they're not in the same text as a permanent building. And they can be here today and gone tomorrow in a sense. And I think they have to be looked at in a different context. And I know we approved it for farmers, and which they were paying. And I think in this sense we have to look at it. They are a portable building, and they're not like a permanent building the way they're constructed.
Counselor Sharp?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just want to go back to Councillor Stedall's motion. You did a different motion than a recommendation. And yours, right? And it did not get seconded? Okay, so then we went to Councillor Allier's. So the original motion's on the table to allow this exemption. So I'll have, given that, because I did like Councillor Stedall's, I guess, somewhat compromise, but the recommendation on the table, and I'm really, I can't support this because for the same reason that Councillor Card is saying. We did a lot of time going through the development charges. We went through all of that process, and to the point of the budget and the staff report is that we lose a lot of money we're going to have to make up. And when, new council, others revisit the development charge, then they can look at the budget and how they're going to find that money. And just for the same reason with the original, the gentleman that came and others asking us to amend the development charges or extend timeframes and so forth, this opens up a lot of impact to the resident and our current budget. So for that reason, and I do hope that it is looked at again in the future, and particularly this one, and maybe some amendments, as Councillor Stedall said, but I can't support, again, changing anything related to our development charge.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Katsobas.
Just a hypothetical, what checks and balances does the city have? Say someone were to put up one of these structures, they avoid their DC charges, and then a couple of years down the road, they add electrical, or they privately ask a contractor to fix this building up. So they've avoided the DC charges, and now they're operating like any other standalone building. That's my concern. Unless we have those checks and balances and we can ensure that people aren't manipulating the system, then I'm hesitant to support this.
Ask Director Jardine to answer.
Yes, thank you to you, Mr. Mayor. So if somebody put up a shell structure without any services, but then come in later to hook up water and sewer, being the primary services, they would require a building permit. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they would come in for a building permit, but that would be our trigger to check as to whether or not a development charge had been paid if that splitting of development charge proposal is passed through. So we would, if somebody follows the rules and comes in for a building permit, that would be our check.
Okay. And that was my concern, if someone doesn't follow the rules and they don't get a building permit. Thank you.
Councillor Roseblade.
Thank you, Mayor. I also like what Councillor Stedall had commented in regards to not charging the rate for the water sewer connection. So I'm interested to know what kind of a reduction would that be? I'm sure staff can't tell me that right away. You can? Okay, perfect. So interesting to know what would that be, and would it be as devastating for the city and for the customer? Like, is it profitable to try to do something like that? Because it is just a dome structure, dirt floors. Is there something we can do so that it doesn't affect the city drastically, but it still makes it feasible for the person to do their project?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the ratio is about 70% water, wastewater for the total DC charge. So the example that's in the report for the 9,000 square foot coverall, where the DC charge was 150,000, that example would now be just 30% of that, so like 45,000 would be the DC. So yeah, it reduces the total DC by 70%.
Right. Okay, I mean, to me, that seems a little more fair. They're still paying some DC charges, but they're not using the water and sewer, so I don't know, I can palatable that, even though it still is money to make up by the city. But to me, that seems more fair if somebody's just building a dome and not using the water and sewer, and they have a dirt floor. It's exempt for the farmers because that's what they do. They put their hay in it or whatever. They get exempt totally. So I think we should be able to work with people that are trying to do this as a business to try to make it profitable or feasible. We need the businesses in the city. We need jobs.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else?
We'd have to vote on this motion first, and then bring another motion.
Maybe we better do a recorded vote, Mr. Mayor, please.
Yeah, okay. Recorded vote, you want to read the motion, please, and we'll have a recorded vote, please.
Through to council, the motion on the floor is that the report be received and that council approve a non-statutory development charge exemption for ancillary non-residential structures of low construction value such as coverall, buildings, and T-sheds. That is the motion on the floor, that it be approved.
Okay.
Councillor Elliott.
Yes.
Councillor Armstrong.
No.
Councillor Boyce.
Yes.
Councillor Card.
No.
Councillor Kotzavos.
No.
Councillor Quinte.
Yes.
Councillor McHugh.
Yes.
Councillor O'Neill is left. Councillor Reed.
No.
Councillor Roseblade.
No.
Councillor Sharp.
No.
Councillor Stedall.
No.
Mayor Harrison.
Yes.
7 noes and 5 yeses.
Defeated. Motion is defeated.
I put a motion on the floor. What I had indicated earlier is that there would be, that the DC for a coverall building would just be a base rate if there was no water and sewer that was connected, that they would be exempt from the water and sewer portion of the development charges for a coverall or a auxiliary building if there's no water and sewer.
So, I think, which is fine, except you gotta remember, where are most of the coverall buildings built? In our city.
This is in regards to a commercial or industrial
I
site is
know
what we're
what you're
talking about right now.
but I'm talking about the building in of itself. You know, the very few will be built in Trenton proper or inside where sewer is available. Water I can take any place, but not sewage. Anyways, that's where, Councilor Elliott.
Just a point of clarification, so you're just singling out commercial. I would hope you're not exempting farm now, which was already approved, is my, but I want clarification on that. Or are we talking all?
Just commercial and industrial, not, this is not to do with agricultural, that's already been done. That's my understanding.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know if there's or we're looking at coveralls per se.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. No, this report was strictly for industrial commercial. The farm we've already dealt with, so this was yeah, just industrial commercial.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councilor.
Yeah, just for my clarity, through you, your worship, to Mr. Hodge. So we take a $100,000 building, and we're talking commercial, industrial, someone's going to put it up, the fee now would be somewhere around $30,000, 30% of what we were talking before, DC charges?
Through Mayor. Correct. The cost of putting it up is not the driver of the DC. It's based on the square footage. So on average, what we're seeing with these low value structures, that the DCs were close to the cost to put it up. So in that situation, if the DCs came out to be $100,000 for that 100,000 cost building, then now with the reduction of no water and wastewater, then yes, it would go down to 30,000. And just to clarify, this exemption, if it was 100% exemption, the tax base is making up the exemption. Now, if it's water wastewater exemption, the tax base is making up the water wastewater part of this exemption. Every exemption in the Development Charge Act has to be funded by the tax base.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? All in favor of the motion? Oh, you wanna, pardon?
Councillor Roseblade seconded it.
I thought it was moved and seconded.
It was, yes,
Yeah.
Your Worship.
Yeah. You wanna read it and tell us who moved it and who
Yes.
seconded it?
Councillor Stedall moved it, Councillor Roseblade seconded it.
Right.
You want me to?
Okay.
Is everyone clear on the motion?
Everybody? All in favor of the motion? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did count. I thought I counted that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't see. 5, 6. Right? Pardon?
Tie vote. O'Neill's not here.
That's right. So it's the vote, motion's lost. Motion's lost. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, the next one I've got is the staff report by Louisa Sorrentino, Economic Development Officer regarding CIP Building Renovation Grant 101 Dundas Street West, Trenton, be received. And that council approved the allocation of $14,338 to Angela and Shannon Wildish, Vivacious and Hidden Gem Spa under the Commercial and Tourism Community Improvement Plan.
I so move the recommendation. I so move the recommendation under the CIP program, Tourism Community Improvement Plan to this business.
Seconded by, moved by Councilor Sharp, seconded by Councilor Roseblade. Comments or questions? Councilor Card?
Thank you, Your Worship. It's a great utilization of the program. Existing businesses kind of upgrading their service, renovating the property. I think it's a great use of the program. Look forward to their opening day coming soon.
Okay. Okay. All in favor? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, the next is the correspondence. This is regarding the Alto Federal Crown Corporation, whose role is to establish a high-speed rail network between Toronto and Quebec City, has recently released possible route options, with one impacting northern parts of Quinte West. And whereas Alto has stated that the proposed southern corridor in prime agricultural and densely populated residential areas and numerous conservation lands simplifies construction and operation. And whereas the City of Quinte West takes pride in its rural character, its residential and agricultural lands, and many natural features continued within, and we take pride in our efforts to protect environmentally sensitive areas throughout our community. And whereas the city of, holy jumpers, prefers to maintain continuity of our municipality and its unique features, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to ask CEO Angelo to make a comment on this, and before we even talk about it, I want you to tell them how we just happened to find out about this proposal, CEO.
Thank you, Your Worship. As you may recall from the last sort of briefing I gave to council at the last meeting a couple weeks ago, we became aware of this proposed high-speed rail through part of our northern part of our community after I had to make some inquiries through our MP's office. And after we met with representatives of Alto, they apologized profusely for not including us on the original circulation to gather our input from us as a municipality and from our community in regards to their proposal. Since that time, I've had the opportunity to attend one of the roundtable discussions, and quite frankly, I'm looking at the southern route being proposed by Alto gives me some grave concerns, the same sort of concerns that a lot of you have shared, as well as members of our community have shared. You know, it really transects a good portion of the Glen Ross area. Part of it includes an area going potentially through our airport off of in the Sterling Airport at one time. It goes through a portion of Oak Lake, an area that we've spent a considerable amount of funds helping to protect and enhance that area. And you know, quite frankly, it goes through other densely populated areas like Chatham Valley, potentially, and a lot of agricultural lands that I think has a huge negative impact on our community. And with that in mind, you know, I think from our community's perspective, and I've seen other local municipalities around our area not supporting the southern route. It's not opposing the another route that that the federal government's looking at, or Alto's looking at north of us, but certainly in terms of our community and that northern or that southern section, that's the reason why I put the resolution on there. I've had correspondence back and forth with Alto expressing the concerns from our council based on the last council meeting and the concerns raised, but I think we need to formalize a resolution. I actually found out today, no happenstance from Alto, but I heard that the comment period has been extended until April 24th, which I never got any notice of either. So it concerns me that potentially some decisions are being made without our consultation. So I think it's incumbent upon us as a municipality to approve this resolution, and that's why I put it on council as a decision item.
Okay, go ahead. Councillor Elliott, go ahead.
Yes, in that same context, thank you, Mr. CEO. Just a week ago, or last week on Thursday, we discussed this thoroughly at Lower Trent, as Councillor Reid and I both said on there. We passed a resolution out there unanimously. We are not in favor of the southern route, and I can give you a copy of the motion and all it entails, but we did not rule out the northern route, but we are not in favor of the southern route. And also yesterday at the Agricultural Advisory Committee, of which the minutes will be coming to this council probably in a month or so, we passed a resolution that we do not support the southern route also. So I just want to add those two things. I think there is another public meeting in Sterling, I believe, next week, 24th, I believe, in that neighborhood. I'm not sure what
25th.
25th, is it? I know there's one more coming up in this area, but if anybody wants to go and listen to it, you certainly have that opportunity. But I just wanted to make you aware that those two groups have passed motions to not support the southern route.
Councillor McHugh, working this way.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm dead against this rail. I've been listening, talking to a lot of people about it. It's going to disrupt a lot of things. It's not going to service us here at all. By the time I drive to Ottawa or Peterborough or Toronto, I'm there. I don't need to go there to get on the train to go someplace. I'm driving anyhow. And $60 to $90 billion. We all sit around this table. Billions. Yeah, we're talking 60, 90 billion. And we won't see it in my lifetime, but we know better places. I can go to infrastructure for municipalities, all aspects of healthcare. That's $60 to $90 billion. I made a joking comment last night at Agriculture Committee with regard to the fact that 401, it was supposed to be completed in 2013, and here it's not. So it certainly won't be my lifetime, maybe not my grandchildren's lifetime to see this, but if Doug Ford wants it that bad, dig the hole, the tunnel a little deeper and run around to the 401 with everything else. So I'm dead against it.
Did Premier Ford want to talk to them about the Kingston Junction kind of thing? Is there something in the news about that? Making the southern going to Kingston?
Not that I know of.
I've heard that.
401.
He talked about the rail line following the 401.
Well, that's why I'm saying Kingston is one of the.
Yeah, but all he's saying that for is so that he doesn't have to spend the money to expand the 401.
Exactly. That's why I'm asking the question, what was that all about, I guess?
We didn't get any direct.
We didn't get any direction on that at all, nothing?
Your Worship, I haven't heard that formally from Alto. I do know there's been some lobbying from areas east of us for a connection to this high-speed rail, but I haven't heard it specifically, and as been told to me, no.
Thank you. Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd be happy to move the resolution that Director Angelo's put forward. Having heard from many residents, and I wasn't able to go to the meeting, I know others will speak to it and did attend, and I will be planning to go in the evening at the March 25th one. But the consultation has not been there. I've heard from many residents. We have emails. But I would encourage individuals to do, if you can't make the meeting, you can go on the Alto website, which I have done, and listen to their video, and you can press the mapping, you can open the mapping, you can ask questions, you can submit your comments. And I am not happy with the responses and that website and the information. It's not really listening, it's about telling. Here's what we are going to do. That's how I interpret it. Here's where it's going to be, and email us your thoughts. But I'm not feeling that there'll be much change. I hope that they will listen, and I think by putting this motion forward, we may get some traction. Maybe that's not the right word, but very concerned. I don't see the benefit to our residents. And they need to do a lot more work on it and maybe look at some other options because it's affecting our wildlife, as the Quinte Conservation, Lower Trent Conservation are very concerned. Our neighbors are concerned. Our farmland will be affected. So, they really, as I think Councillor O'Neill had said, look at the pathways we already have with trains and utilize some of that land. So it's a no for me.
Thank you, Your Worship. Similar to other comments, we'll also be supporting the resolution. It's been mentioned before, going through environmentally sensitive areas, disruption of agriculture production, and emergency services response. I see only costs to our community, essentially, with very little benefit. And I say that as someone who is very supportive of infrastructure modernization to increase economic competition and growth. That's very important. But this project, I think our community has unique historical concerns about broad federal expropriation efforts to begin with. And to Councillor Sharp's point, the communication has not been there at all. And you look at some of the just bipartisan group of folks that have come out against the southern route at this point. Premier Ford doesn't prefer it. MPs Millette, part of the government, and then MP Shelby Cramp Newman are two MPs for our city, different parties, one in government, one in not, both oppose. I think Shelby, the northern and the southern route. Our conservation authorities, the Ontario Farmers Association, which don't agree on much with the conservation authorities, they both oppose it. It just seems like Belleville Council. I think what is important for this, and it's, I think, a good example of council using their stature and standing to speak for a community, because there has been a lot of, comment, and I think that, people should be empowered, and we should tell them to go to the meetings, and we should tell them to fill out the online information. But I think there is an added weight when the municipality speaks. We can get a letter on the Premier's desk, the Prime Minister's desk, maybe not read by them personally, but average citizens don't have that ability, and I think it's important we speak on these topics of concern.
We certainly can.
Mrs. Reid,
Councillor Reid.
Thank you very much. I too am very much in favor of this letter expressing the City of Quinte West not supporting Alto. I want to express the thanks for explaining in our resolution letter, explaining the environmental, the agricultural areas as reasons for us not wanting it. It's not because we're against the train, it's because we have environment, the agriculture, the wildlife. There are so many things that are so much more important than people having to go on this high-speed train. So I think it's very important that this has been stated in the letter, and I will definitely support it.
Yeah, I'd like to second Councillor Sharp's motion for this. I have a few points to make. Just for clarification, the March 25th session from Alto. So basically, it's like an open house. You go there, and you go to the various stations within the facility, and you get a chance to speak with the Alto staff. There's no actual presentation that takes place. and the hours are 11 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, and 5 in the evening until 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. And it's going to be at the Sterling District Lions Club that's at 435 West Front Street in Sterling. And sitting on the chairperson for Quinte Conservation, Quinte Conservation is getting a resolution together, and because we didn't have a meeting this month, we will be getting a resolution out voicing our concerns against the Alto project from Quinte Conservation's point of view. From the City of Quinte West point of view, I'm definitely not in favor of this. This southern route, it's going to be disrupting families, disrupting farms, disrupting creeks and rivers and a lot of infrastructure. This system will be some bridges and overpasses at main roads, but all the side roads will just be cut off because the train's going so fast, they aren't going to be blowing the whistle. They're just going to be passing through, or so they think. They think they're going to be passing through. And one of the other things, as a Canadian citizen, having to spend $90 billion of tax dollars from my income tax, I can think of a dozen other things that I would rather spend the money on. Housing, municipal infrastructure projects, the Canadian military, protecting our sovereignty, Canadian natural resources that we need to develop and get to the world markets. I'm pretty sure the Prime Minister has been traveling all over the world trying to do all this stuff, and here we are wasting time on some sort of a train that's going to whiz people along, but we already have trains that they can take, and we already have a highway they can get onto and drive, and they can get in an airplane and fly. Like, why do we need a fourth way for people to go from A to B? Just makes absolutely no sense to me.
Quinte West?
I see it all the time, sir.
How many are on it?
Well, I can't tell. It's driving past too fast, but the train does run.
I know it runs, but I'm going by when it stops here.
Oh, well, it doesn't stop here often enough.
Okay, but it does.
But, you know, that's the other thing that's going to happen. If they build this train, how long will it be before VIA doesn't even exist at all and we have no train, period?
I don't know. I'm just knowing it's empty. Councillor Stedall, then I'll come to Councillor Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So some of my comments are going to be repeats of what everybody has said here, but I have been on the train and it's full. When I'm on it, it's on the VIA.
Oh,
I see it full. Yeah, it depends when you're riding it, and if you ride it, you'll find out it's full.
Which way do you go?
Toronto.
Do you go west?
So just, I do not support the proposed southern route for Alto project, but that does not mean that I don't support the project as a whole. I have serious concerns with the federal government's proposed $92 billion investment, and I believe those funds could be better used to improve existing rail structure. Originally, there was discussion about a route connecting Toronto, Peterborough, and Ottawa, and it was widely anticipated it would follow the Highway 7 corridor, or the old rail bed, which is now being proposed. What's being proposed now is quite different, and that raises significant concerns. Too often in Eastern Ontario, we are treated as an afterthought, and the current proposal does not provide enough information about what the final project might actually look like. While it appears the project may move forward, given that millions has already been invested in it, it's difficult to make informed decisions without a clear data on the final route. If you've seen the maps, they're not clear. They are anywhere from, they're two different routes, anywhere from 10 to 20 kilometers, both in each of the swaths. So it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly what the route's going to be, because it'll take up less than a quarter of a kilometer by the time they actually get it. This is not just a matter for councils. Individual residents should have a voice, and especially those who have properties that might be directly affected. I encourage everyone to review the interactive map on the Alto website and submit comments so local impacts are clearly understood. And I suggest that not just the residents do it, but every member of council go on that interactive map and make a point. Because I think the more voices, I know. I attended the Alto meeting up in El Dorado and spoke to the representatives at that meeting, and they said that's what they're looking at, is the points that are on that interactive map. So please please go on there and make your points there. These resolutions we see many, many resolutions. There'll be lots of them are coming forward, but the actual impact is going to be the local comments. So in summary, I don't support the $92 billion investment in its current form, but I really strongly suggest that we need public participation, and that's what we should be promoting as council members.
Anyone else? Councillor Boyce.
Thank you, Your Worship. And, when Councillor McHugh was just a young boy and the original train.
Boy, you got a good memory.
and the original trains were being thought about, it had one common occurrence. It brought the people in Canada together. And I think this Alto proposition has brought the people together, but for opposition. I think everybody except for maybe Peterborough, who will benefit from this, is in opposition of it, and rightly so. The environmental issues, there are concerns. I mean, nothing that this will do will benefit Quinte West or the majority of people. And the time, we have to look at the time, 30, 35 years, and $92 billion, which we know is so underestimated in cost. It's going to be a lot more than $92 billion. We should be investing that in other things. We've got trains. Let's look at air, investing in our municipal airfields and different things like this. I mean, by 35 years, we'll probably all be flying in drones anyways. So, I mean, let's, I 100% agree with this. Let's put our, our opposition out there again and be united.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. But why would Alto come out and, first of all, neglect us?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, neglected
Absolutely.
Quinte West, forgot about us.
Yep.
That really hurts. That really hurts. I can't understand how an organization with they've got funds behind them. Sure they have. And somebody didn't, anyways, that's the part that, and then you go through this and you see how much information is missing.
Yep.
And I'm not an engineer or anything else, but there's so much missing from what they're possibly going to end up with. And we know that, they've given us a figure, but that's a very low figure compared to what it's going to cost before it, the figure they're giving us doesn't include any locomotives.
Yeah.
So we're going to pull the train. So, but then, no, I think the idea has some merit, but if you're going to put it out there and expect me to make a comment, give me something that I can, really appreciate and really hang into. But I'm like all of us here. If I have to go to Kingston or Peterborough or someplace, I'm not going to drive to Kingston to get on a train to go to Peterborough.
Exactly.
It just doesn't. Anyways, that's where I'm coming from. So thank you very much, and we'll get a letter off, no problem. And we've got a couple to do. Okay, all in favor?
No, before we vote, just one comment. I'm looking forward to seeing the vote, because from what I'm hearing around the table, it sounds like we're all aboard.
Yes.
Sending this motion.
You just wanted to say that.
Yeah, we're all aboard on the train.
Corny.
All in favor? I think it's unanimous, isn't it? Anybody against it?
I'll give you that.
Unanimous. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, let's keep going. Under proclamations, Resolute Council proclaim March 21st as World Down Syndrome Day in the city of Quinte West, and further that the sign in the Veterans Skyway Bridge be in the color blue, yellow, March 21st, and proclaim, okay, that's it. Okay, I need to move in the sector. Councilor Katsowas move, seconded by Councilor Reid. Okay, any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Next one is that we proclaim the 21st to 27, 2026 as Week of Solidarity with the people struggling against racism and racial discrimination in the city of Quinte West. And further that the Quinte West sign in the Veterans Skyway Bridge be illuminated in the color red-green from March 21st to 27, pending no conflicts. Moved by, I need a mover and a seconder, don't I? Councilor Sharp, Councilor Boyce. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. That's good. Okay, and I do, as I said, I have a meeting coming up that I've been invited to with respect to racism and how immigrants, what they're dealing with to get here, especially doctors, so that will be interesting. Okay, as they all are. Next one is World Health Day, which is April 7th, City of Quinte West. Further, the Quinte West sign and the Better Skyway Bridge be illuminated in multi-colors on April 7th, pending no scheduling conflict. Mover and a seconder, Councillor Katsovas moves, seconded by Councillor Reed. Thank you. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you. Carried. Okay. Next one is March 26th as National Epilepsy Awareness Day, aka Purple Day in the City of Quinte West, and further that the Quinte West sign, Veteran Skyway Bridge be illuminated in the color purple, March 26th. Mover and a seconder, Councillor McHugh moves, seconded by Councillor Elliott. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. And proclamation from Mark Laundrie, President Quinte Organ Transplant Support Group, requesting council proclaim the month of April as be a donor month in the City of Quinte West. Thank you. Mover and a second. Councillor Roseblade moves. Sharp seconds. Councillor Sharp. Sorry about that. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. And the next one is Bev Woods, Executive Director, Gift from the Heart, requesting council proclaim April 4th to the 10th as National Dental Hygienist Week in the City of Quinte West. Okay. So need a mover and a seconder for this one.
You're right.
Councillor McHugh and Councillor Stedall. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. And correspondence, printed and non-printed. The resolution of printed correspondence moved by Councillor McHugh, seconded by Councillor Allier. Questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Kunze?
Just wanted to make note that the province of Ontario is helping the city of Quinte West out with their new water storage facility that's going to be constructed, and they're going to be sending us $16,425,000 to help us with our new water storage unit that's going to be located near Mount Pelion to assist with growth and keep up the water pressure. So in case somebody has a fire somewhere, the fire department will have water pressure to put the fire out.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other comments?
Thanks, Mr. Ford and Mr. Tyler Alsop.
Right. Thank you very much. Yes. So what was it we got money for today? Isn't that awful? I was there.
Lunch?
Oh, gee.
The ice storm, Your Worship.
Wasn't high speed. It was
Ice storm.
The ice storm from
ice storm,
spring.
Right. Thank you. Money to help us with the ice storm. That's to melt the ice. Okay. All right. All in favor, I guess. Carried. Thank you very much. And okay. Anything under planning and development?
Notice of motion.
Yeah. Okay.
Bylaws.
Okay. Anything else other than I'm at bylaws? Bylaws be approved. Need a mover and a seconder for bylaws. Councilor McHugh moves, seconded by Councilor Reed. Okay. All in favor of the bylaws?
Mayor,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
just under the election bylaw, Mr. Mayor, under 8.1 penalties and offenses, the written word is 5,000. The number in the bracket is 2,500.
Thanks for pointing that out. I'll make that change.
Thank you,
Councillor
sir.
Goldsworth.
It wasn't intended to be.
I did change it, but I didn't change the written word, so I appreciate
Oh,
that.
thank you.
I'll make the
Okay.
change.
All right. Okay. All right. So now we're good. All in favor? Thank you very much. Confirmation bylaw. That's the one I got.
Yep.
Okay, moving to seconder for confirmation, and Councillor Roseblade, Councillor Card, and 2 for adjournment. 2 for adjournment, same price. Same price. Councillor McHugh, one other guy. Councillor Alley adjourns it. Councillor Reed.